epidemic, and alien encounters continue unabated. Safe to say, this is the best week ever.
What are you doing? Run! It's the week of greatness. What you doing? It's really happening! This is a real thing!
Nah, man. This is the real thing. Are you wearing the new Icon Clash?
I need this in a size 8. I need a 6.
I need this at a 16. I got you.
Not today. Is it dead?
Clash not dead.
Hell yeah. Hey, kid, where you headed? You know it's the end of the world, right?
Yeah, but it's the start of week of greatness.
Shalom. First off, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Makakadash, Yahweh being the true name for the Heavenly Father, Yahushai being the name for His only begotten Son, who the world eagerly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the top of this truth and rule well, and salutations to you hopeful elect pushing this truth in all honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh coming to us the spirit power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and this lesson is going to be basically responding to the new Footlocker commercial that came out, which is highly spiritual. This was a pure advertisement, a preview of what's to come upon the earth as it lines up within the scriptures. You know, that of course they're trying to satirize it, but they showed you a lot of stuff within just one quick clip commercial that I seen recently on Instagram. One of the brothers shared it, you know, this Footlocker commercial, man, and I had to just stop what I was doing and hop in the spirit and do a lesson on this, because this is basically straight out of the Bible what's getting ready to take place. And this is a time period called Jacob's trouble. These are all the things that are going to take place upon the earth, basically right when before the sky is getting ready to crack, when the Lord is going to return. All hell is going to break loose. I mean, they showed you the nuclear destruction in here. They showed you meteorites hitting. They showed you creatures. They showed you plagues with the zombies. The zombies apocalypse represents all the plagues that's going to hit this place. They showed you Jake getting delivered. They showed you the chariots of the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which are the so-called UFOs. We're basically going to just kind of run through this and dissect this commercial here, you know, and bring out everything that I picked up on through the spirit. You know, and this guy's holding up the sign saying the end is here. You know, well, the end is basically coming, man. And all the people that you've seen that are like basically going through the motions are being untouched by all these plagues. If you notice, they're all so-called Black, Latino, and Native American people, which those are the biblical Hebrew Israelites according to the scriptures. And the Jake that gets delivered up and picked up by the so-called UFO right here, it's a so-called look like a so-called Latino man or Israelite that's going to get beamed up. And these chariots, these so-called UFOs, those are the vehicles of the angels. In the Bible, they're called chariots. You know, so I'm going to go ahead and get some scriptures out real quick, and we'll kind of go into it. This is Jeremiah 30:7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it." Okay, that day that's getting ready to come is going to be like no other day that's been throughout the history of the earth. All the terrors or horrors that are going to come and hit this place is going to be nothing compared to anything else that's ever happened before. You know, you had all types of horrors, especially when it came to us being delivered out of the land of Egypt. There's a whole lot of things that a lot of people don't know the extent. It's been watered down as far as what we've been taught what happened. But the plagues that hit Egypt, you know, they were horrific. Very, very bad. But it's nothing compared to that's what's getting ready to come hit this place, America, the new Egypt. You know, it says, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. He meaning the elect. you know. And the elect consists of the Hebrew Israelites. You're going to have so-called black, Latino, and Native American people that have been laboring, teaching this word and warning the people that will be saved out of it. And they're going to be chilling in that time period, you know, not bothered of what's happening around them. Now, this commercial also, it's kind of twofold. It just shows the simplicity of Jake. You're actually going to have Jakes and so-called Negroes that are really going to be concerned about shoes in that time period versus all the horrors that's happening around them, because they've just been that brainwashed. But, you know, this is nonetheless, what I picked up from this video was more of a spiritual of the people that are basically unfazed of what's going on. It represents the elect, you know, because they're kind of happy about what's happening. You don't see any frowns on their faces or nothing. And this says the week of greatness. Well, you know, in the scriptures, it talks about that certain time period of Jacob's trouble that's going to take place. You know, but we'll be delivered out of that. But we will have to go through it for some time. You know, and that day will be great, what the scriptures say. You know, for that day is great, that is none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, so let's get some more precepts that kind of go into it a little bit here. All right, we'll start off in 2 Peter 3:10. It says, but the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night. You know, that day, that time period is talking about Jacob's trouble, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up, because there's going to be thermonuclear missiles that's going to be hit upon the face of the earth. You're also going to have chariots shooting different parts of the earth, and different military bases, and so on and so forth. This is the day of the Lord's return. You know, day of the Lord coming back, the day of suffering and Jacob's trouble. It's talking about, this is when the heavens will pass away with a great noise. And that great noise is talking about those missiles flying through the sky. You know, when a missile flies through the sky, it breaks the sound barrier. You know, they have what they call, I believe, the sonic boom when they see the missiles shooting through the atmosphere. You know? And for Esau, the so-called white man, his biblical nationality is refers to the Edomites and Esau within the Bible. That's going to be the end, but it's going to be the beginning for Jake. You know, and I'm going to rewind this just a little bit, because the dude said something to him.
Hey, kid, where you headed? You know it's the end of the world, right?
Yeah, but it's the start of a week of greatness.
Okay? Yes, the end for Esau, but it's going to be the week of greatness for Jacob. And that's a Jake that's walking by that he's talking to. He's smiling, you know, because that's going to be the end of Esau's empire. And all these things, believe it or not, all these sci-fi things you see taking place is actually going to be a reality that's going to happen on the face of the earth. You know, and that day is going to take all these people off guard. I'll read it again. But the day of Yahweh will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Thermonuclear destruction. Those bombs will be melting the elements. They're so hot. They say that when a nuke goes off, it's 10 times hotter than the surface of the sun. You know? And at the beginning of the video, it shows this. Okay? They're trying to call it as a meteorite. But we know within the scriptures it talks about destruction. And, you know, there probably will be meteorites as well. You know, who's to say that the meteorites aren't described as also can be referenced as hail, blasting of hail hitting the earth, or brimstone, fire and brimstone. You see that hitting the earth? It's going to shake up the place. Okay, then the Lord said he's going to unleash strange beasts and creatures that at the mere sight of them, people will die just by looking at them. And you see this creature, you know, got his tentacles wrapped around the building. It seems far-fetched, but we're going to read about it within the scriptures. Okay? Okay, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 5. It says, for when the horrible fierceness of beasts came upon these, and they perished with the stings of crooked serpents, their wrath endureth not forever. Meaning these things actually took place. During the time of the plagues hitting Egypt, you had horrible, fearsome beasts that were unleashed. Okay, it says, but they were troubled for a small season, that they might be admonished, having the sign of salvation, to put them in remembrance of the commandment of thy law. You know, when these things begin to take place and these creatures that will begin to unleash, you're going to have a great awakening. More people will begin to run to the Lord. They're going to realize that there is a higher power, that there's something great that's unleashing these things. You're going to have a lot of people at the end, what the scriptures say, believing, because of all the things that they needed. They needed a proof. They needed to see something. Well, the Lord is going to show you something. He's going to show you some shit in the time to come. You know? It says, verse 9, for it says, for them the bitings of grasshoppers and flies killed. Okay, well, that's one of the plagues of Egypt when he unleashed the locusts. Okay, that's the biting of grasshoppers. And the Lord also unleashed different flies. And these grasshoppers were so massive, they were actually killing people from biting them. The grasshoppers and flies killed, neither was there found any remedy for their life, for they were worthy to be punished by such. So insects are going to be unleashed. It says, but thy sons, not the very teeth of venomous dragons, overcame. Venomous dragons will be released upon the earth, man. For thy mercy was ever by them and healed them. For they were pricked, they should remember thy words, and were quickly saved, and not falling into deep forgetfulness, but they might continually mindful of thy goodness. So people will be able to persevere and go through with their faith and wake up to the truth. You know, there's still going to be people waking up even in that time period. Okay? Let's get some more precepts out. This is Jeremiah 50:14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, round about, all you that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahweh. Well, there's going to be an influx of millions of missiles firing against this place, and also various countries of the world. But Babylon the Great represents America. So all these countries will be completely emptying their nuclear missile arsenal on this place. They're not going to spare any of those missiles. Those missiles represents what's being described here as arrows within the scriptures. Revelation 6:14, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Okay, that represents that mushroom cloud departing as a scroll is rolled together. You know, when a mushroom cloud is forming, it rolls as a scroll. And every mountain and island were moved out of their places. It's going to cause such a humongous earthquake from that much power hitting the earth. It's going to cause the tectonic plates to shift. So the mountains you know today won't look like the same mountains anymore. Some of them won't even be mountains at all. They're going to be shifted out of their places. So the place is going to be shaken. The whole earth, man. This is Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Okay? So a flying roll represents the so-called UFOs. You know, and that showed you this. There's one in the top right-hand corner here, and we'll fast forward to try to get a better picture of the so-called UFOs. All right, there we go right there. A flying roll or a flying circle. Today called a flying saucer. That's a flying roll. Okay, and you're going to have people getting beamed up and delivered. Okay, this is within the scriptures. And we can grab that too. Psalms 34:7. The angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them. That's how the deliverance comes. The angels will beam you up. Okay? Acts 1:9. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Okay, so the so-called UFOs, the chariots, will be coming with clouds. Okay, you see him getting beamed up, taken up into that cloud, into that chariot. Okay? We get another precept here. Revelation 1:7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. He's coming with a big cloud. because the chariots are cloaked as clouds. And then when the so-called UFOs, when they want to reveal themselves, that's when you see that form of that spaceship. People will be getting taken up in those clouds. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11, verse 17. It says, "For thy almighty hand that made the world of matter without form, wanted not means to send among them a multitude of bears or fierce lions, or unknown wild beasts, full of rage, newly created, breathing out either a fiery vapor or filthy scents of scattered smoke, or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes." Okay, that's some stuff that you see in like Godzilla movies, man. And the scriptures say the Lord didn't want to send that stuff, but he did. Verse 16 describes it, that they might know that wherewithal a man sinneth, by the same also shall he be punished. Okay? And he's being punished with those beasts. It says, whereof, verse 19, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroyed them all. Okay, so that's where you're going to have creatures with giant tentacles and stuff popping up. Okay? Engulfing the buildings. You know, they have the ability to kill a lot of people all at once, but just the mere sight of something like that in person, people will die. You're going to have all types of if you think of your most terrifying horror movie monsters and creatures, the Lord is going to be unleashing those things. They will come out of the depths of the ocean. They'll be coming out of the cracks in the ground, the caves, all the places that people don't really think about or can't really venture to, that haven't been explored. The Lord is going to use those to unleash the creatures. Things that have never been seen before. Giant beasts that can shoot sparks and tempests out of their eyes, man. Can you imagine? It says, yea, and without these they might have fallen down with one blast, being persecuted of vengeance, and scattered abroad through the breadth of thy power. But thou hast ordered all these things in measure and number and weight. Okay, so the Lord controls how many he's going to unleash. But they're going to be shooting stuff out of their mouth just like, Godzilla does, man. So yes, you're actually going to have creatures that are going to get unleashed. This is 2 Esdras chapter 15, verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. And some of those plagues go into sickness, diseases, and that's the cause of people turning into zombies, man. Parasites that will infect people's brains to become zombie-like. So yes, you probably actually will have people walking around here like the undead eating people, man. Look at what happens when they take these crazy ass drugs of eating, like some people eat like Epsom salt or some shit, and then they go psycho berserk. They get possessed with demons, and nothing takes them down unless you shoot them in the head. That's actually happened. There's videos of shit like that going on. A man eating another man's face alive. Okay? These are things like diseases like that was happening back in Egypt when the Lord was plaguing that country back then. And the Lord says he's going to bring back the plagues as before. Okay? And this is the place spiritually called Sodom and Egypt today. America. And will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. And we're reading about the things that he does for punishments. Sending beasts, sending fire, storms, tempests, diseases. All these things will begin to happen. Sending his chariots. Okay? It says that they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting of hail, and with a fearful constellation. Well, a constellation goes into the stars too. So yes, you're going to have meteors hitting the place. These asteroids, boom, coming from the sky. People will be running in complete chaos and horror and fear. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell in, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. People robbing each other's stores, their houses, their homes, for trying to eat food. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. You actually have cities cordoned and sectioned off. And you're going to have a chip in your hand to scan to get through some type of entry access point. To get food, whatever you name it. It's going to be complete chaos, man. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. We are reading all these things about that time that shall never be like before. Jacob's trouble. This is all the stuff that's going to be going on. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of the bread, and for great tribulation. Okay? So people starving, killing each other for food, and going to each other's homes. You know? There's verse 23, the fire is gone forth from his wrath and hath consumed the foundations of the earth. And the sinners like the straw that is kindled. That bomb, that destruction from the flames. People getting burned up, man. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith Yahweh. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary. Which these people did not hearken unto those words. Verse 27 says, for now the plagues are come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For Yahweh shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. So the whole earth will be experiencing all these horrors, man. But it's going to be worse in this place called America. Okay? And he's not going to deliver you. People will be running wanting to be saved. And only a few people will be getting beamed up in them chariots. This is verse 34. It says, behold, the clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. You're going to have some really, really big storm clouds. Chariots that have the ability to shoot lightning bolts out of them. So that's what this is talking about. Horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. And a lot of these chariots are responsible for sitting some of these gigantic storms that hit, or these massive tornadoes. You know, the Lord can send his angels, his chariots, to manipulate the weather to execute his vengeance. You know, and verse 36 says, actually we'll start at verse 35. It says, they shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly. You know, a lot of the missiles and stuff coming in too, hitting the place. And the stars falling to the earth. You know, when those missiles come through the atmosphere, they look like stars falling down from the heavens. It says, and the dung of men unto the camel's who, and there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon the earth. And they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. You're going to have people panicking. And then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north, and another part from the west, and strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it, and the cloud which he raises up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind shall be destroyed. The great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up full of wrath, and the star that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell in. They shall pour out over every high and eminent place a horrible star. Those missiles hit. Okay? Those are intercontinental ballistic missiles coming from the atmosphere, hitting and creating those big mushroom clouds. Fire, hail, and flying swords, and many waters, that all the fields may be full, and all rivers the abundance of great waters. You'll have tsunamis and hitting. Okay? You're going to have wildfires hitting. Meteorites coming, hail. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains, hills, trees of the wood, and grass and metals, and their corn. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon, and make her afraid. Okay? So these are the things that's going to be taking place in Jacob's trouble. Okay? That day is great, so that none is like it it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Only the elect is going to be delivered out of Jacob's trouble. But that day is going to be great. It's going to be a great, terrifying, fearful day. You know, and this clip of Footlocker pretty much showed all of it, man. All right, I'm going to play this last clip of the video one more time and then read this last precept and we can shut it down.
Hey, kid, where are you headed? You know it's the end of the world, right?
Yeah, but it's the start of a week of greatness.
That's all Esau has to look forward to. You know, hey kid, where you headed? You know, Jacob, where you headed? Right? You know, it's the end of the world. This is 2 Esdras 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Jake won't have anything to be holding his head down for in that time period. You know, only the two-third wicked Jakes that love the sinful kingdom, they're going to have their head down. But it says, for Esau is the end of the world. So it's the end of the Edomites' kingdom. You know, they're going to be looking down. And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. You know? So Jacob is going to be coming on top, rising back into power. Esau is going to be horrified at all these things coming, these missiles, and his kingdom being wrecked, ransacked. Jacob's going to be getting delivered, man. These are the things that we look forward to, man. You know, so Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Just wanted to hop in the spirit, do a lesson on this commercial. I'm going to go ahead and close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, the time of this truth and will well. And salutations to you, hopeful elect, pushing this truth in all honesty and sincerity. Shalom.